This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Danny, and I'm the first-time reader going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, and Chad Welsh. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank Gabor Gerst, who increased his pledge over at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 51 and 52. And before we kick things off today, we are recording this episode live on our Discord with some of our patrons.
Yeah.
And it is Sarah's birthday today.
So we have to celebrate.
We don't have any shots planned. I don't have any Harry Potter shots in my notes, and you don't have any Lord of the Rings. We talked about it. So we're going to go ahead and do a Wheel of Time themed shot. This is typically a sake shot.
Yes. We don't have sake.
We don't have sake. We have vanilla vodka, and we have apple cider.
And we do have chopsticks. And
not hot apple cider. We have sparkling alcoholic cider.
Yes.
And you have your chopsticks on your glass.
Yeah. It's a sake bomb.
It's a sake bomb. That's right. That's what it's called.
Without the sake or the bomb part.
Right.
Well, I guess the bomb part. And chopsticks will become relevant very soon.
Yes, because of this chapter.
Exactly.
They use chopsticks.
Yeah.
That's why. That's the whole connection.
That's the whole connection. Boom. There you go.
Okay. Do we do a countdown? What do we do here?
What did they say at...
at Ichiban.
Ichiban.
They say... I don't know.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
I remember one time that whatever they yell, one lady in the restaurant was so drunk one time...
Yeah.
That they said, let's get wasted.
Let's get wasted.
Or something. There's a whole thing.
It's 3, 2, 1.
Let's get wasted. And then you do it. And the lady who was so drunk yelled, let's get naked!
Yes, and it was the auntie at the table, and there was kids at the table.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, so, I'm ready.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, let's get wasted?
Sure.
And happy birthday, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
So anyone who else...
Compai.
Anyone else who's joining in, feel free.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, have fun. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1,
let's get wasted! Happy birthday, Sarah!
I'm not good at drinking.
That was actually pretty good.
It was tasty, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. There's a lot of liquid. I don't even think I got it all. There's some left in there for me.
A little bit.
Okay.
It's been a few years.
That was lots of fun. Chopsticks shots.
Yes.
Sura shots.
Sursa shots.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so chapter 51 is Revelations in Tanchico, and chapter 52 is Need.
Right.
Yeah,
cool.
These chapters go together again really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff happens, and a lot of story time, and a lot of covering, plot points and learning things.
I have to tell you, I really, really liked this chapter.
Really?
The first one, kind of dull. The second one, excellent.
So much good information, and I love it because it's information.
But you love it, it's information, but I love it because it was intriguing and unpredictable and exciting.
Okay.
But I also got to learn some really cool information that I liked learning.
Okay.
It wasn't, all the political hoo-ha that you love. It was
relevant and important.
It was cool.
It's also connecting some dots from earlier in this book too. We get answers to questions.
I love that. I love answers to questions.
When you don't have to wait until the end of the series to learn, who did some things.
Yes.
We get those answers now.
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to start off with a fun fact, and it's actually pretty relevant because of what we just did with our shot. So I have some fun facts on chopsticks.
Nice.
Because it's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. This chapter, I really love it because it's all about chopsticks.
Sure.
So I had to dig out couple fun nuggets of information on the Sursa, as they call them in this series. So early chopsticks were mainly used only for cooking. They've been around since 1200 BCE, and it took about 1600 years to go from just being used for cooking, because you could reach into pots of boiling water and oil, to being used for eating. 1,600 years.
Whoa.
Long time.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Okay. That was the reaction I was looking for.
Oh, wow, that's such a long time.
But the important part about why people started using them to eat is because this happened in China when there was a population boom and then resources started running dry. So cooks had to develop cost-saving habits, which included chopping the food into smaller pieces so less fuel would be needed to cook it.
Ooh, yes.
So
more
as
surface area.
Yeah, as everything kind of became bite-sized, knives became more obsolete. But the interesting part about this is Confucius, who's probably one of the most widely known Chinese philosophers, he helped popularize chopsticks because he was a vegetarian, and he believed that if you had sharp utensils at the dinner table, it would remind eaters of slaughterhouses and that knives evoked violence and killing. So he did a lot of work into getting knives off the table.
He sounds like he
using
would have
chopsticks.
been a tinker.
A little bit, actually, probably.
Yeah.
So, but the last thing, why do we call them chopsticks? Any idea?
Because you eat the food that was chopped up.
Close, but not quite.
Oh.
So, the character or word used in China was derived from the word quick.
Oh, chop chop.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the Chinese English chop chop, which meant quickly.
Yeah.
So that's where we get chopstick. Basically, it's a quick stick. Like a quick bamboo stick used for eating.
Yeah, and if you're not good at using chopsticks,
Yeah.
it is anything but quick.
And it's so funny because that's why we get this chapter. It's like a new trend, a new fad in Tanchico here, and everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Except Tom. He's a professional.
Tom can do it.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I love chopsticks.
Me too, yeah.
I'm very proficient,
Yeah.
excellently proficient in chopsticks.
Yeah, we eat lots of sushi too, so.
Yeah, and noodles and all
Everything.
sorts of cuisines that require chopsticks, and we're good at it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my fun fact. I hope that worked.
Enough bragging about how good I am at chopsticks.
I almost never drop food like Nynaeve.
Okay, so before we get into these chapters, though, we have a recap of what happened last time, which doesn't matter for these chapters.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sort of matters. We talked to Egwene
Yeah,
in the second chapter.
Yeah.
So Rand and Matt and that whole crew showed up. They got to Cold Rock's Hold, and then there was a big Drakkar / Trolloc attack,
Yes.
and that was
A lot of bad stuff happened.
bad stuff. And Rand is on his way
Yep.
now.
One of the Dreamwalkers died.
He's leaving. Yes. And the last time we saw Elaine and Nynaeve, we were in Tanchico. We had just met Egyanin,
Yes.
and she was going to come back to ask more questions.
Yeah.
And here we
get
are.
follow-up, so yeah.
So chapter 51 is called Revelations in Tanchico. And the revelation is she's a Shanchen.
Yeah.
I guess we also find out the Black Aja stuff. But the
We
biggest
do.
one is the Shanchen business.
Yeah, and that's probably why we get the Shanchen helmet as the chapter symbol.
That's right.
So,
There you go.
linked all together. There you go.
All right. So we enter in Elaine's perspective. Elaine, Nynaeve, and Egyanin are in the Chamber of Falling Blossoms.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know Egyanin was here for a little while, and then all of a sudden she's just like there, and I went, whoa, oh man, she's here.
Yeah, it's a lot of recap of like what's happened over the past week or
Yeah,
so.
but let me tell you, when Egyanin left the first time,
Yeah.
and that guy was watching her leave,
Right.
I didn't know if she would ever actually be back. Like, this was
Oh,
a surprising thing for me.
interesting. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, and I think that maybe during those chapters that we talked about, we didn't speculate at the end about what
Like,
was going to happen.
Is she coming back
Is
or
she
what's
coming
the
back? Is she going to come back for more questions? Is she going to come back to, like, arrest them with her soul dams?
Yeah.
Like, what's she going to do here? I really didn't think she was going back.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought she got the information, was scared of them. I thought the guy was going to see her and, like, take her back to Suroth. Like, I really didn't know. And
Yeah.
I didn't think she was going to be here.
Okay.
And then
okay.
all of a sudden she's just here, and turns out she's been here like 4 other times.
Yes. We get the time
in
lapse here.
7 days. Like,
Yeah.
she's there, like, they're best friends.
They are. They actually are, from what it seems like. They got inside jokes. They got everything.
Yeah,
So.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that out there because I don't know if anyone else felt that. It was just, she's here, and we're just going to move on from it. But, like, no, that was a huge thing. I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
Big
So,
thing.
anyway, they're all struggling to learn how to use these Sursa chopsticks.
Yes.
And it's from the food that they're eating.
Yeah.
From somewhere else. Eridaman?
Yeah, it's the place that they're at war with. So the whole line of questioning is like,
Why?
why are we using their stuff if we're at war with them? And what Rendra kind of talks about, like, if we can't conquer them, then we can conquer their food.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's very realistic, though.
Anyway, Rendra, the innkeeper, speculates about the riots and all the civil unrest going on. And this is where she's like, who knows if someone's going to be pissed off that I'm serving food from Eridaman and come in here and wreck my place because of that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, catastrophe type stuff happening in Tanchico. So that's just like the thing that keeps coming up over and over again.
So we get that the new Panarch,
Yep,
Amathera, hasn't put the Civil Watch back on their duties, and the Children of the Light have killed a bunch of rioters. So either there will be no more riots or way bigger riots.
Yeah.
And there's no way to know.
But there's probably a logical way to figure that out, too.
Yeah, more riots.
More riots.
Yeah.
You can't just, kill people and expect the riots to go away. They're going to get bigger and worse.
That doesn't actually happen.
Yeah. But I also do like the little tidbit there where Rendra has tucked, forks and spoons out of the napkins. So if they can't eat with the chopsticks.
Cute.
It is. It's funny.
So this is where we get that it's been 7 days and they've become best friends, turns out. Elaine thinks about how they've been somewhat locked into the inn with all the riots and the streets being dangerous. Like, they really haven't been able to leave and explore.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually happy about.
It's probably a good thing.
They have no idea what they're doing. They think they know what they're doing, and they're gonna end up getting in trouble.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Igyanin came into the picture in the first place.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally... And no one even talks about that until they find out that she's Shansha. They're like, oh my god, how did you even come to be with us?
Yeah, what's this last...
And it's like, now? Okay, we'll get to it. But... So they get to eating, and Elaine says, what should we discuss today? You've asked every question that we can answer. You'll need to go to the White Tower if you want to know more. And
yeah.
Igyanin does not like that.
No. She's still got a lot of the preconceived ideas,
100%.
obviously. Not all of them. And we do get a lot of character growth in these chapters from her. So I got to come to her defense a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it's so much character growth as... we're just getting to know her as a person a little bit better, because I think that she already was growing in her beliefs when we met her.
She is, but she's come a long way in the last 7 days.
Okay, if you say so.
I do say so, and I'll point out why later on.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, Igyanin asks about the women that Elaine and Nynaeve have been hunting.
Yeah. So before we get the entrance of Bael Daman here, I just want to ask real quick, because with Igyanin's question about the women, it kind of sounds like this is the first time she's bringing it up.
Yes.
I just wanted to see what you thought. Is this the first time did she wait this long to ask about the women?
Not on purpose, but I think that she had other pressing questions.
Okay.
Specifically relating to women who can channel,
how it all works.
The White Tower, the Aes Sedai.
Okay.
Everything like that.
Yeah, it sounds one kind of way, and I just wasn't sure what your take on that was. I didn't
think it sounded anyway. I thought it was just like, I don't want to pry, and I believe her that she doesn't want to pry.
Yeah, she's playing
like,
a weird...
you haven't really been secret about this, but it's kind of secret. Do you mind sharing with me? Because... we're friends now.
Yeah, the last time we got where she was like,
you?
I'm not going to ask your secret questions. I'm not going to pry.
And now she's like, I'm going to ask you secret questions.
Now we can pry, yeah. Okay, so this is the best entrance ever.
Okay, Bael Daman enters. That's the entrance.
Yeah, it's the entrance. No, but he announces, I found the women, and then he recognizes Igyanin, and he's like, you!
This entrance.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So funny. So they start immediately just fist fighting.
Yeah, it's a full-on brawl.
Full-on brawl. And Daman wins.
Which is interesting.
Not that interesting.
I didn't necessarily expect Daman to win this.
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And
we'll
they have a funny little...
because they do have a back and forth, and I'll tell you exactly what I thought in that moment.
Okay.
I think she's a little bit arrogant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I can see that.
Yeah. So at this point, though, Elaine immediately wraps them both in air, and she and Nynaeve question them. They're like, what the heck is going on? We also get a side point, a little note, that Nynaeve can't see the flows.
Yes, you caught that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not good.
That's really bad, and that's definitely related to her block. Like, it's severely hampering her ability to do things.
Yes.
Not just embrace Saidar, but also do
She
anything
can't,
useful.
she can't sense the power in anybody. She can't see the flows when she's not channeling.
Yeah.
And I guess that means Elaine can.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a weird little tidbit here where you could take it as, oh, does a woman have to embrace Saidar to be able to see the flows? And it doesn't necessarily seem that's the thing. It just seems like it's part of her block.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the other women can see when another woman is channeling by her glow.
Yeah.
And then can probably from there see the flows
Yeah.
or something like
if
that.
Moraine was watching, she would be able to tell without her being like presently channeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so so Nynaeve can't see those flows.
Yeah.
And she can't see the glow around Elaine.
She's super useless when she can't channel, when she's not angry.
Not good. So Damin tells Nynaeve and Elaine that this woman do be Shanchin.
Yeah.
And then he explains how they met. And she is a ship captain, and she took my ship to Falma with the Shanchins and
the whole thing. Everything that happened. He confirms all of it.
We were there.
Yeah, we saw that.
We know. So Elaine tells Damin that he needs to get up off of Aegyanin, and everyone sort of plays it cool, and then Nynaeve has a very angry monologue. She is so hurt.
She is, and I do want to talk about this too, because what we have here, it's going to be like really fundamentally challenging for a lot of people, especially with Aegyanin being Shanchan and who she is and what their culture represents, and then you've got Elaine and Nynaeve on opposite ends of the spectrum of how they're reacting to this, and Elaine's kind of playing mediator between everybody in this.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which is like, that's her role.
That is.
Because she is so mediocre as a person, and her personality is so bland that she can't like take a side one way or another. And it was the same between Nynaeve and Egwene.
Yeah.
She was the middle,
mediator,
calm mediator, because she's just like has no real emotions except for weird emotions for Tom, which we're gonna get into later. And
okay,
we'll get into it. It's so weird. So, but anyway, that's Elaine for you.
Yeah,
and that makes sense.
I like Nynaeve's angry monologue too.
Yeah, go for it.
Just because she like asks 100 questions
all at once.
Yeah, it's like, why are you here? Was the meeting an accident? Why did you seek us out and make us friends with you?
Yeah, worm our way into our friendship.
Yeah, and then she goes on to the
She's
whole like,
we know about you and your Suldam and your Damani, and I bet you didn't know we know about that.
And your entire hierarchy is just like a bunch of shambles because your Suldam can also become Damani and
entire culture of hypocrisy.
Jeez, exactly. That was like basically the summary of what Nynaeve is ranting about.
Yeah, and I do feel for her slightly. She is not even remotely in touch with any emotion other than anger.
Yeah. So is this intentional though? Because she wants to be like, we've seen her intentionally work herself up so that she can channel.
It's possible. And that's just might be her go-to. It's like maladaptive learned behavior because it's her automatic go-to at this point. It's almost like she's not doing it consciously.
It's just what she knows.
Because she feels more comfortable when she can embrace Sadai. Even though her... Saidar? What did I say?
Sadai.
Whatever.
It's all so many Sada words. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that she feels more comfortable when she knows she can defend herself and the people around her, but she's also scared of it. So it's like this interesting balance that she doesn't even understand herself.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, she's clearly hurt. She feels betrayed and she can't properly express that. So she goes straight to anger.
Gotcha.
That's her go-to always. And that's her main flaw as a person.
Yeah, I agree.
So, this is where Aegyanin is like, I know. I know my culture is a bunch of bullshit at this point.
She figured it out.
I figured it out.
This would be a shock to anybody else.
Maybe. Some
of them at least. So.
I bet more know than we think that they know.
Interesting.
I think they've all maybe secretly found out and they're all just keeping it secret.
It's like nobody's talking about it.
Yes.
Because any Suldam would then become, so it's like
Damani,
hush hush.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the entire structure falls apart and then...
Gotcha.
Can't.
Well, that's bad too.
Yes. So Aegyanin has figured things out. She was brought up to believe that women can or can't channel. There is no learning. And then this is where Aegyanin and Damin have a funny little exchange.
Yeah.
And Aegyanin was like, oh, he's tougher than I thought he was. And this specifically made me think, like, she's really arrogant.
Gotcha,
like,
okay.
As a Shanshan.
So this is why you weren't surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, we saw her beat up those other thugs.
A bunch of thugs, yeah.
They did it all together, sort of. But, I don't know. It just comes across as...
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said for fighting someone that you already have a past experience with. You're going to bring that into... And Dahlman was super subservient and kind of meek and didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he was like, oh, well, of course I was meek then.
You had a bunch of Damanian soldiers behind you.
And you were going to burn my ship if I didn't do what you asked me to do.
So, like, of course he didn't, like, fist fight you.
Yeah.
But here...
Yeah,
makes sense.
And he's like, yeah, you're tough, too.
You're tough, too.
You do be tough.
Do be tougher than I thought
my
you would be without
mother.
the... Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah.
That's pirate lingo.
That's good. I like it. So Elaine is immediately able to be okay with Aegyanin.
Yeah, like she doesn't immediately hate her like Nynaeve is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aegyanin admits that Elaine and Nynaeve were not what she thought, and she likes them.
Yeah. So they kind of bring up a good question. I want to talk about this with you because this is a point that can kind of hit home for probably a lot of people in their real life, because this clearly is going to be some sort of issue moving forward. Like, their relationship is now for sure damaged. It's not a good situation. But Elaine thinks about, how do you stop liking someone when you now know, like, what they are or who they are or what they represent?
Yeah. This is... if my friend is from a culture that's racist, but I have to then talk to her as a person to find out her views and thoughts before I make a judgment to decide whether or not I respect her and her beliefs.
But it's someone who is now clearly coming around on some level, but has a past history of endorsing and doing that.
Yeah.
All that bad stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you pull them back and into, like, what Elaine clearly is making that separation now?
Yeah.
It's a tough situation.
It is a tough situation. I get it. And Nynaeve goes straight to the put up a wall. You've hurt me. You've lied. And now I don't ever want to trust you or interact with you ever again.
It's like a you're dead to me wall.
It's a you're dead to me wall.
Yeah.
And Elaine is the opposite, where it's like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's work this. Like, you're a human. I'm a human.
Yeah.
We all have flaws. Let's work through this and see if we can have a relationship.
Prediction time.
Uh-huh.
Are they going to get past it?
Yeah.
Nynaeve included?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Nynaeve doesn't get past anything. Let's be real. Like, in the next chapter, she thinks about how she'd be happy because Maureen is upset.
Yes, she does.
She holds a grudge like I have never, ever seen.
So, like reaction-wise for Elaine, I can see her getting past it
100%.
because she's already almost past it.
Yeah.
But for Nynaeve...
I have a prediction later.
Okay. Do you want to come back to it, maybe?
I don't think I'll remember it.
Okay.
So, my prediction for later is in my notes.
Okay.
But specifically, this prediction about Nynaeve getting over it?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay. That's probably a fair assumption.
I think she feels too hurt. She feels that even... It has nothing to do with her background. It has more to do with, you lied to us, and now I can't trust you. And that's where the block is.
Okay.
And that's what... Like, Nynaeve is fiercely protective of her own heart, her own emotions, and she's fiercely protective of everyone around her to a fault. So.
Okay.
But I think we talked about this point.
Yeah.
Enough. So, at this point, Aegyanin tries to answer all their questions about the Sul'dam being left behind at Valma, and how some deserted, and what her job was, how she found Bethamin, learned the secret, kept her in her basement.
Yep.
But...
character growth.
News.
Yep.
She let Bethamin go last night.
Yeah.
She couldn't keep her locked away after learning about women who can channel.
Yeah.
From Nynaeve and Elaine.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying about Aegyanin, developing as a character.
I get it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so now that things have settled a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's calmed down.
Sort of. And Nynaeve remembers that Damin said something about finding the Black Aja women.
Yeah, that's what he entered with.
Yeah, so they don't seem to care at this point if Egyanin hears, because they don't think she's a dark friend.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how adamant Egyanin is. She's like, I'm not a dark friend. Like, she might be Shanshan, but she's not a dark friend.
All right. Cool.
So, like, it's good to know that she's as offended by that as, like, any regular person should be.
Okay. So, Damin says that the women are at the Panarch's palace.
Ooh, huge plot point for the next 2 chapters.
All right. So,
Okay.
the question is, what would they be doing there? Also, there are white cloaks there, so how does this make any sense?
Yeah.
Damin found this out because he's bribing the Panarch with ice peppers, so he's still smuggling and all that stuff, and he's upset. He's like, I have a right to my trade.
Yeah, like, we know he smuggles, but the funny thing is that we know why this all makes sense, why there'd be Black Aja, and why there was white cloaks, like, all in the same building.
Yeah.
Because Dark Friends.
Because Dark Friends.
Because Dark Friends, there you go.
That's literally the answer to everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only real question is, does the Panarch somehow know? But, like, everything that we've seen so far with Jacob Carradine and the White Cloaks,
Yeah.
and Leandrin and the Black Aja,
Yeah.
it really, before we even get to the part where we learn that she's an innocent victim in all this,
Yeah.
we already know she's going to be an innocent victim
It's
in all
like
this.
she's not. So.
And so, are we going to believe that the Black Aja are sort of hiding in the Panarch Circle
Panarch's Palace.
palace? I always call it the Circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the circles are the
Yeah, okay, I know. It's like the
stadium
Coliseum.
things.
I know.
Yeah.
So, at the palace, though, are they being hidden? Because Jacob Carradine is a secret dark friend
Yes.
who, like, helped them get in. And if there's a bunch of other White Cloaks all around, Aes Sedai are very noticeable.
True.
So,
I
like,
think they're being
hiding a little
undercover.
bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure undercover a little bit, and I'm sure the White Cloaks don't have free reign necessarily of all the corridors of.
And we're assuming that, like,
you know,
Jacob Carradine
yeah,
probably was the one who helped them sneak in
for sure.
at all.
For sure. Like, there's got to be some sort of connection there.
And now we get that the Panarch, I forget her name,
Amathera.
Amathera,
Yeah.
is obviously being held.
Yeah, she's not a willing person.
No,
participant
and so
in this.
that's why the, like, Civil Watch hasn't been brought back to their duties and all this stuff is happening. That's why.
And we know that King Andric is doing something on his own accord too, so
Yeah, we get something.
it's a whole bunch of stuff because we saw those meetings and we saw the Dark Friends.
Yeah, because
and
he also wanted the White Cloaks to be doing all the work.
Yeah, it's a whole
Right,
bunch of
so-
messy. Everybody's on their own side.
It's a mess.
So
Okay, so Julian enters stage left.
yep,
And he's also learned that the Black Aja is at the Panarch's palace.
got very important
But
news.
Damin got there first.
Yeah,
he
but-
relayed the news first.
But Damin didn't have the proper evidence, so Julian's like, "Ha! I have evidence."
Yeah, okay. And I also like that Julian is clearly from Tyr because all Tyrians, how do I say it?
Terrans, yeah.
speak in fish metaphors.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of times I have to listen
It's
to
great.
something about silver pike
Yeah.
or whatever, it's just so cliche. It's hilarious.
It's great.
Yeah. So now Tom enters stage right,
Yep.
and he says, I also have news of the women.
I know these things.
I
Okay.
have also learned that the Black Aja are at the Banar's palace.
So here's the thing. We can probably definitively say this is like some kind of pattern thing going on because the pattern needs Elena Nynaeve to learn the Black Aja is in the Panarch's palace today. So it sent 3 sources. We've seen this before where it's like Moraine talking about, hey, getting the same piece of information from 3 different sources. It's meant to be.
Interesting. Okay. I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen it a couple of times where it's
Okay.
like, boom, a bunch of different... the Eye of the World. It was
Oh,
literally
yeah.
the Eye of the World thing. Is like Maureen got the sources about the Eye
yeah,
from
yeah,
3
yeah.
independent sources, and it's like, oh, that's where we got to go. It makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. Yeah,
So.
yeah. Cool. So Elaine has a bunch of weird thoughts about Tom at this point because
Sure.
she wants to take care of him, or really she wants him to take care of himself, and she's like grinning when he does anything or says anything.
Okay.
There's a lot of little side things. And at this point, I mean, okay, this is the first instance, so we'll wait until the next ones.
Okay, point that out to me.
You're squinting at me.
I'm a little confused.
That's okay.
Yeah.
See, I pick up on the subtleties.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to explain that.
I will, because it's weird.
It gets weird.
Yeah, it gets real weird. So Elaine asks Tom if there's any indication that the Panarch is a dark friend, but no evidence of that.
Yeah, no.
Turns out Amathera hasn't seen King Andric since becoming Panarch.
Yeah, and that was like a whole stage. Amathera was put on as Panarch, basically.
Yes.
We got to see that weird beating, too.
So we're like, unsure where her allegiances lie. None of this makes sense. Tom then is like, who's this broad?
Yeah. Like we're talking about this in the open. We don't know who is she to be involved here.
Mm-hmm. And Elaine's like, she's Shanshan.
Yeah, I love how they play it cool. Like, she's Shanshan. Like 5 minutes ago, you weren't all freaking out.
Yeah.
And she's like, get over it.
And he's like, oh, what? And so they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. So then Elaine goes through 3 possibilities for Amathera. So she's either a dark friend. She thinks the Aes Sedai are Aes Sedai.
Yeah, just like regular old.
And she's just like...
Going with it.
Or she's a prisoner.
Yeah.
And Tom nods in approval, and that makes Elaine feel warm inside.
Is it the weird thing you're trying to point out to me?
Yeah, it's another thing. It's just like very specific to Tom, making her feel a certain kind of way.
I kind of read it as just like feeling approval from like a not necessarily like a father figure, but like the same kind of like, oh, I did a good job, right?
Yeah, but she didn't give a shit if like Bail Daman or Julian were nodding in approval. It's specifically Tom. And now at this point, I said maybe a father figure ? I hope.
Okay.
It's just verges on a little strange. Like she's just super obsessed with him.
Yeah. Well, there was that whole like recollection of who he is.
I know.
The past with her mother.
Yes, which makes it even... She's just a little obsessed with him.
Okay.
I picked it out every
I mean, he's the silver fox, right? So
I know, it's so weird.
The silver fox, the gray fox? What's it called?
Well, it's a silver fox if it's like a hot guy with...
That's like what older. We call it in our world.
Yes.
And then in their world, he's the gray fox. Okay.
But she also thought to herself, I think a chapter or 2 ago, that in his prime, he must have been good looking.
Yeah.
Like she thought to herself, he's not too bad to look at. And then there's like all this like... she really wants his attention, and she really wants him to take care of himself. And I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm just picking it up.
Yeah, you're reading into... Okay,
I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everyone discusses the plan throughout the meal, because now they're all eating again.
And again, it's just like here, and she's
just
still
their
involved.
Prisoner now. So
I mean,
like, where is she?
Sort of. Like.
Well, no, they're like, she can't go anywhere. If she tries to go anywhere, we're not going to let her.
Yeah.
Because Elaine can be like, nope, air that bitch. And wrap her up.
I'm going to air you.
Yeah, wrap you up. It's a verb now. So, but yeah, she can't go anywhere.
Okay.
And she knows too much now. And they know about her. So now she's essentially their prisoner friend.
Prisoner friend. The best kind of.
Right.
Prisoner?
I'm going to force you to be in my company.
Best kind of friend.
Yeah.
If I have to force you to be beside me.
All right. So there are 500 white cloaks and about 1,000 of the Panarch's Legion, and there's about 1,000 of the Civil Watch, so they can't really just bust into the palace.
And it's like, obviously,
guys.
they
have to be sneaky sneaks.
Yeah. Can't just make our way through.
Yeah, well, especially considering
soldiers.
Leandrin knows you.
And it's the Black Aja. Like, you should be going in sneakily anyways.
Yeah.
Like, what's the game plan? So
Tom, Daman, and Julian are going to go out again to find some more information, but they don't want to leave Elaine and Nynaeve alone with Egyanin because she's a dangerous Shanshan. And Nynaeve's like pissed off enough to wrap them all in air, and then is like, we can handle ourselves, and sends them off.
Get out of here.
So they wait at the inn while the 3 men go off to hunt down the trails, and I have to tell you how confusing this whole scene was for me.
Yeah, it is kind of written very oddly, I gotta say.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem smart. It doesn't seem very tactful.
Yeah.
Like battle tactics. Like, let's be real. Going out, finding information, coming back, going out, coming back, going out. Like the snip, snap, snip, snap.
Very much so. That's how to describe it.
It doesn't seem safe because if you're going out, you're getting punched in the face, you're getting into fights, you're trying to find out information, and then every time you're always returning to the same place. Somebody at some point is bound to spy you and follow you and see you.
And that happens.
Yeah.
That literally happens. Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and I was confused.
It was. So
I didn't get what was happening.
They made the plan at 5 o'clock, and then the men went out for the evening, and then everybody kind of like came back around the evening
But then went
time.
out again.
And then, yeah, so like throughout the course of between 6 p.m. and midnight, they were like back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, find out one thing, come back. Find out another thing, come back. And it's like, how far can you go? What can you actually understand? Like, I don't know. Were they just going to the common room? And then maybe that's not as bad.
No, I think they were going out. They were going out and about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
especially with all like everything that's going on.
It's a bad situation.
It didn't seem smart. I didn't like any of it. And the men are all just sort of competing for who can bring back the best information. So they're not even really thinking clearly.
Yep.
It seems not great. So Tom returns once, and Elaine asks if he would rather just stay to evaluate things here with her.
Well, he's the oldest.
Uh-huh. It's another thing. Elaine does not.
Oh, this is another one of your weird
Elaine
points?
does not ask Damen or Julian to stay back.
Okay. She doesn't have a connection with them.
Yeah. Anyway, she's basically like, don't go out again, because he comes back with a new bruise on his face, and Tom's like, no.
Yeah, he's going.
And he goes. So he's off to check out a lead, and he comes back again with the name of another woman. I don't know. It's all just...
A lot of it doesn't actually matter.
None of it matters,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. Like, it's a lot of waiting, and it's a lot of writing it as in from the perspective of the girls who are just waiting and waiting and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And that's how we, the reader, are also supposed to feel, and we for sure do.
Yeah, I just kept thinking, like, what's going on? Are they... Like, is this all happening?
Yep, tonight, right now, it's all happening.
Like, I didn't believe it. It seems so stupid.
Okay, let's move past it then.
During all the waiting, there's a disturbance outside the inn, and after a while, it seems fine. And during all of this, Elaine notices the same pretty serving guy.
Yeah.
But she has no time for pretty boys right now.
So is this guy going to be a problem? Like, we've seen this specific guy multiple times now.
I don't know. I
Is
didn't
it just
pick up
like-
on that.
But, I mean, we've seen it a few times.
No.
Over and over. He's kind of like chasing her. She mentions
Not
here
really.
that...
He just works here, and she lives here right now.
Yeah, but now she's noting that even her scowls are still getting, like, smiles from him.
Well, he thinks it's the chase.
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to be a problem?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not important
All right.
enough for me to know. You know what's important for me to note? Elaine, I know. Okay, so we get lots of dead leads, lots of false information. Damen is intent on leaving Tanchico tomorrow because this is going to be another Falma. And
Yeah,
so we
he's
keep
worried.
hearing that from him.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve tells all the men that nobody will be going out tonight. And Julian says, nah, I'll go out again. But Nynaeve is like, no, you're going to take turns guarding our door because Egyanin will have to sleep in our room with them because she's our prisoner.
Yeah. And all the men gave their words that they have to do what they ask, so they're kind of stuck with it.
All right, cool.
So
now it's time to go to bed. So the women are in their room. Tom stands guard first. And Rendra is a little bit put off because she doesn't think they need guards inside her inn.
yeah, like the rabble from outside didn't make their way into the common room even, so like
Yeah,
why
but
do you
you
have
know
guards?
how men are.
Yeah, I know.
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows.
She gets it.
Yeah.
She knows what we're talking about.
So Nynaeve searches Egyanin, and when they're alone in the room, she tells Elaine to bind Egyanin with the power, but Egyanin doesn't even resist.
Yeah, she's not putting up a fight.
Nah, she kind of gets it
She does.
at this point.
She gets being a prisoner.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, it's also the question of like, Egyanin still likes them as people.
yeah, she does
Like
them.
her opinion doesn't seem to have changed.
No,
that
and she
likes them.
understands why they don't like her and her culture.
Like she gets it.
Uh-huh.
So the whole question of like, where are we gonna go with Egyanin as a character? Like, is she going to?
I like her. I like her better than Nynaeve.
But I mean, that's the question. Is she gonna
And
like?
Elaine, let's be real.
Yeah. So is she gonna like repent her ways and come over to, the Aes Sedai side and be a
Ooh.
Shanchan informant type, like, insider. Yeah, I mean...
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Or, like, how's this relationship going to evolve? Or is Nynaeve just going to shut her out completely?
No.
So...
We'll get to it. Remember how I said I have another point next chapter?
Next chapter, okay.
We'll get to it.
I'll wait then.
Yeah, wait. So, Elaine doesn't quite get why Nynaeve is so pissed off with Egyanin, because she thinks it's not like she was the one who was captured like Egwene was.
Yeah, and that's a messed up way to think too, Elaine.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's all bad.
Yeah. So, Nynaeve wants the ring to go to Tel'aran'rhiod tonight because it's the agreed night to meet Egwene for coffee.
Yeah, it's been 7 days.
Yeah. So she will worry if neither of them show up for it, and they agree that Elaine has to stay because she's the only one who can use the power successfully.
Yeah, to hold Egyanin.
And then so Nynaeve has to be the one to go in. Elaine will wake Nynaeve up after an hour.
Yes.
So
that's
Nynaeve is now asleep, and Egyanin says to Elaine, "She hates me, I think."
Yeah.
And then we get a conversation. Egyanin doesn't think Elaine hates her, and Egyanin says she's terrified right now, even if she's calm on the outside.
Yeah, like the last little bit of the chapter is pretty surface level. Like there's not much we can probably dig out of it.
Well, no, and here's the thing. No kidding, she's terrified. No matter what she's learned in the past 7 days, her ingrained culture has taught her that women who can channel are animals.
Yes.
And these ones are free and have control over her.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yes, and it's pretty tough. And I mean, that kind of comes back to the whole, like...
Well, it's like someone sitting in a room with a gun.
Yeah.
Right, like, that's literally what it is. Sitting in a room with a woman who can channel when you have an innate hate and fear of people who can channel. Of course that's going to be terrifying.
Yeah, definitely.
I equate that to, like, me sitting in a room with someone who says, "Don't worry, you can trust me," but they're sitting with a loaded gun in their lap.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know you that well, and even if I know you that well...
power is a weapon.
Yeah.
And it can be very scary. So no shit, she's terrified, and she admits it.
Yeah, okay.
So, there we go. So, it's important to note right now that they're all in their shifts. That's important for later.
Right.
Nynaeve is asleep right now, snoring with her elbows out, and...
Elaine isn't.
Elaine isn't. Did I say Elaine?
You said all of them.
No, Nynaeve is asleep. They're all in their shifts.
Elaine isn't in her shift.
Oh, she's not.
She's dressed still.
Interesting. Okay. Nynaeve is asleep.
Yeah, Nynaeve's asleep. Egyanin's asleep. Those two are in their shifts.
Okay. And shifts are 90s.
There was an interesting comment either on Discord or YouTube, and I can't remember which, but someone had mentioned that shifts were basically like the thin thing you wear under your big heavy clothes that are super easy to wash because they're so thin, because it's really hard to wash like big heavy dresses and stuff.
Did it all click for you?
It clicked for me. It makes sense now. It's like your undergarment.
You wash your underwear more often than you wash your jeans.
You're supposed to.
Oh, Brad, you're so gross. Okay.
Walked right into that one. Okay, let's continue.
I know. Okay, but you missed my point about Nynaeve snoring with her elbows out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, anyway.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the chapter.
Yeah,
it was a lot of build up for next chapter.
I thought more things. I actually had predicted in my head before I started reading again, because Elaine keeps yawning into the back of her hand.
Oh yeah.
And I thought she was gonna go to sleep.
Okay.
And not wake Nynaeve up, and I thought it was actually gonna be a way worse situation than it is.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't a bad situation.
It wasn't. That's literally nothing.
It's like basically all good things happen for the most part. So
yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that chapter, and we're going to get right into chapter 52, Need.
Yeah.
Need.
This is a good one. A lot of stuff, a lot of content.
A lot of good stuff. The chapter symbol is the swirly, whirly picture.
Yeah.
You say it's the dream ring.
Yes.
Terangriel.
I do say that.
I say it's the Tel'aran'rhiod symbol.
Yeah.
But maybe they go hand in hand and we're both right.
Okay, I can settle for that.
No, you can't.
No. You can have your opinion.
Okay, what I have to tell you is this is my favorite Nynaeve chapter I've ever read.
Oh, hey.
I liked this chapter a lot.
Yeah.
This is a good chapter. This is like top 5 chapters in this book for me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This was really, really good. I really liked it. I have to tell you, though, Nynaeve is still much too arrogant
Sure.
for my liking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
We'll stop.
so we enter Nynaeve's perspective. She's in Tel'aran'rhiod. She's in the heart of the stone. That's the meeting place. That's the Starbucks.
Yeah.
And she's thinking about how much she hates Aegyanan right now. But more than that, she's thinking about how it's really difficult to make friends.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, that's literally
And then
what
she made a
thinks
friend,
about.
and
She
it's
made a
like
friend.
betrayal.
It's been so difficult for her to find anyone she likes, let alone trusts, other than like Lan.
Yeah.
But like since she left the Two
Yeah,
Rivers, there's been no one that she's had any interaction with that she's enjoyed.
Okay, so is that an argument to maybe her coming around in the future?
If Aegyanan can prove herself, there's a slight maybe chance.
Okay.
But Nynaeve needs to go to therapy to work out her own stuff first.
Right.
So
Don't know if
so
they
you
have
tell
that
me,
here.
you tell me if she's gonna find
What are the going rates for
a
therapists?
counselor like that matches her,
Yeah.
right? It's a good match.
What's the percentage chance of this happening?
Not much,
12. Okay.
but like maybe by like book 11.
Okay. All right. End of the series.
By
She
book
comes
11,
around.
maybe I like Nynaeve.
And she has a friend.
Maybe.
Love it. Okay. Let's continue.
So she's got the feeling of being watched.
Yeah, which is totally
That's back.
being watched.
Yes. I don't really know though. Is it the Dreamwalkers? Like, or is it something more
this is the thing.
nefarious?
This is the thing. Yeah, I mean, and I say that kind of facetiously, but the feeling of being watched keeps coming back, and we've had this conversation because they keep coming back to the same place every time they come into Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah.
Every time, same place, and the feeling of being watched. And we get that she is being watched later on, so it's like, what's the connecting factor here? Is it Birgitta watching? Is it
maybe.
somebody else watching? Is it just
Probably.
like the Dreamwalkers are like,
Probably
what's
not.
going on?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. She's like, I'm being watched. So she summons her trusty thumping stick.
yeah, might as well be prepared.
Yeah. So this is where Egwene, Amis, and Bear arrive.
Yeah.
And they startle Nynaeve. And she has clothed herself in a mix of like a Two Rivers dress and plate armor.
Yes, and a helmet, and it's like, I love this.
And she has no idea.
No idea.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she can't just like admit like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Or like, I didn't mean to do that. Bear says you have to control your thoughts. And Nynaeve is like, I can control my thoughts just fine. Thank you very much.
It's like your Shi'ar plate armor seems to differ.
Yeah.
Like,
I meant for that to
Yeah.
be what I was wearing.
yeah.
Thank you for noticing how good I look.
Fun little note I gotta point out here is that when Amis and Bear arrive, there's a note that Amis's hair had been almost silver even as a child.
Yeah, like super blonde.
It's always been that color.
Like she's like platinum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that Bear is the tougher of the two
Interesting.
in Nynaeve's
So then maybe we
perspective.
get that Amis actually isn't that old?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Is
So-
that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
You needed me to puzzle that one out?
Yep.
All
You
right.
got there.
Okay. So Egwene and the Wise Ones appear misty, like almost transparent,
Yeah.
because they have entered Tel'aran'rhiod while half asleep in the saddle.
So this is really important.
This is so cool.
Okay. Why is this important?
Is next fucking level.
Why is this important though?
Because they're traveling.
Also, why? This answers some of our questions of what happened at the end of The Dragon Reborn.
What happened at the end of The Dragon Reborn?
Amiko Nagoyan,
Yes.
who was watching the cell,
Yeah.
was drifting in and out, and she seemed insubstantial in Tel'aran'rhiod when she was there.
So she was only like half asleep?
She was half asleep playing with the Terangriel, basically is what happened with Amiko. So she was like the insubstantial, it's the same level.
Right. And I feel like I speculated that.
Yes, but this is like confirmation that that's a thing
Gotcha.
that can happen.
Yeah,
Where you
okay.
can be half asleep and still project yourself here.
Okay, so what I picked up on here is that Egwene is for sure leveling up.
Oh yeah,
if
that
she
too.
can like do this.
Yeah.
If she can get here. And they're in the saddle, which means they're riding already to the big boss meeting.
Yeah, Al-Kirdal.
That's the one.
That's the one.
I said that.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time. I say it.
Just say Golden Bowl.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
So,
Meeting place.
big boss meeting.
Right.
Chief of Chiefs.
Chief of Chiefs meeting.
Big deal.
Why use lot word when few words do trick?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now it is catch-up time.
That's funny. Are you just like implying that this is their, weekly meeting or whatever?
Yeah, this is catch-up time.
Okay, catch-up time. This is what's happening.
Catches Nynaeve up on what's going on.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve catches Egwene up on what's going on.
And it seems like everything's going super great.
Catch-up time.
Yeah.
So, Egwene tells Nynaeve about the Trollocs and Drakkar attack on Cold Rock's Hold, about people dying, about Rand hurrying to the boss meeting against all custom.
Yes.
And Rand isn't confiding in anyone. Nynaeve has a secret smile when she thinks about Moiraine being a little bit upset. That's funny.
Yeah. So one thing I got to point out here is in this sequence, Nynaeve refers to Rand as the boy. And this is one of those things that's probably going to become an issue if Nynaeve and the rest of them can't start viewing Rand as the Dragon Reborn, the Karakarn, the king of Tyr. He's not just the sheep herder, the boy.
Oh, I need the boy. When you say that, you need to say the context. So Moiraine has influence over Rand, and in Nynaeve's perspective, she was like, I hope the boy can get out from under her influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's the whole, it's like the way they view him, they got to get past that.
Yeah.
Same
and I think that Nynaeve will be the only one who has that issue.
Of getting past viewing him like that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Egwene being here in the Waste and Matt being here seeing this, Matt will resent him for it. He won't be happy about it.
Sure.
But he will accept it. Like, they're watching it go down in real time.
Okay.
Elaine is in love with him as a man. She didn't know him as a boy growing up, so that's not going to really be a problem for Elaine. Nynaeve is the only one who, in the moment, isn't seeing things go down, and she has this vision of herself as being the more mature, more elder, more important, and she still feels the need to protect him, even though he is who he is and he's doing what he's doing,
okay.
Right?
Yeah,
so that's going to be a Nynaeve issue.
All right.
Now, Egwene is upset right now because Rand is just doing his own shit, and Egwene promised Elaine, I want to make sure I'm saying the right names.
Yeah.
Egwene promised Elaine she would watch out for Rand, and she doesn't know how because Rand's not letting her. So Nynaeve walks over to her, and in my mind, this like putting her arm around her is super awkward.
Okay.
I see it as such an awkward, weird thing.
It is kind of weird.
It's almost like Nynaeve wants to be protective of Egwene from the wise ones who are standing there.
When she's like with them, though.
Yeah, because she stands there with her arm around her for the duration of the conversation, which seems so weird to me.
Too long of a time to be doing that.
Yeah, it seems so weird. So anyway, she's like, just tell Rand about the words Elaine wrote to him.
That's the worst advice you could possibly give.
Oh, God.
Not more. Poor Rand.
These letters again?
Yeah.
I literally wrote in my notes, poor Rand.
Because he's going to get it again, being like, just read the letters. She said what she was feeling.
These Gersh letters. They're going to be the death of him. After all of this, this is what's going to kill him.
The letters are going to kill him, yep.
Literally.
Okay.
So Nynaeve tells Egwene that there is some good news about Tanchiko. They found the Black Aja, probably. And Egwene notes that they still don't have what they're looking for.
Yeah, so they don't
know.
Not that they don't have it, they don't even know what it is yet. So that's like the full
it's
issue.
only medium news, turns out.
It's like medium, and then it's also like it's still just you guys up against 13 Black Aja,
right?
Plus the White Cloaks, plus like the entire.
And Nynaeve is like, okay, well here's how you can help me.
Yes.
And she looks at the wise ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I get information?
So I mean,
through the dream world.
Okay, I like what Nynaeve does here, where she's spitballing ideas. Yeah, she's inexperienced. Yeah, she doesn't know exactly how it works.
Overzealous, some might say.
Yeah, I get it. But I'm just saying she's not doing a bad thing by spitballing these ideas. And the wise ones are super condescending in their approach to being like, ha, that's a bad idea. But it's like, why can't you just explain that to her? Like, no, you can't do that. That's not a thing you can do.
That's not how they operate.
Yeah.
They don't operate by explaining things nicely to people. They need to teach them lessons. Like, look at Egwene, who never wanted to take direction from anyone, always was thinking that, like, she was going to know best as soon as she asked a million questions.
Yeah.
Like,
I disagree with everybody's methods here.
I don't disagree with the wise ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worked with Egwene.
Sure.
Who's very hard-headed.
It's very bullying, though. It's like,
Yes.
I'm going to change the clothes on your body and force them, like, not let you
they're
change
doing
them
it,
back.
though, to prove a point. Because
Medium, because they don't explain it, though.
No, that's the bad
They don't
part.
explain their actions.
Egwene, she picked up right away that it was a lesson.
Sure,
That Amis, with the whole, like, monster Beetlejuice thing.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. The dream within
She
a dream.
knew right away that Amis was able to manipulate that in a very terrifying way.
Yes.
And she was like, oh shit, Tel'aran'rhiod is actually dangerous, and I've seen it and experienced it firsthand. Whereas Nynaeve doesn't get it. She doesn't know. And so they're trying to, like, let her know, I can manipulate you and you should be wary. But instead of her picking up on that, like, I think they just assume.
Yeah.
They just assume that she would know it's them doing it. But she is so arrogant, and there's the smudgeness.
Yeah.
Because right away, they change her into having 2 braids with her short skirt, and Nynaeve refuses to believe that the wise ones have anything to do with this. She's like, I couldn't have been.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole point about the wise ones' tactics or methods of teaching. Sure, they work on Egwene. They don't work on Nynaeve. So does that mean that they're still good at teaching? Like, they have to come up with another way.
No, I don't think they're good at teaching because all they know are Aiel.
Yeah.
And Aiel understands
It's like cross-cultural
how
teaching methods.
to listen.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as stubborn. Like, Two Rivers people
That's the issue. It's cross-cultural.
are very notorious for being stubborn. But anyway, here's the thing. They try to teach her a lesson. They think they've done a good job. They haven't. She has to work too hard to get back to, like, how she was, and they obviously change her back.
Yeah. So it's like a contest of wills almost and skill.
Yeah. And Nynaeve asks if she can bring Amathera into Tel'aran'rhiod so that she could talk to her, but definitely that's a no. That's an evil thing. It's the way of the shadow. No way.
Yeah, so she asked 2 separate things. There's 2 questions that Nynaeve asks about when the first one gets shot down. So the first one, she says, can we get into Amathera's dreams?
Yes.
So can I go into her dreams so I can talk to her there? And then that's when the wise one says no, because if you do that, stepping into another person's dream is very dangerous unless they know you and expect you. So the question is there this distinction from what we've seen the Forsaken do with dreams? Right? And we just, for example, saw Lanfear in, like, the last chapter where it seemed
I was actually
to be
just thinking about that as you were talking.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like, was that Rand's dream, and then she has some control over Tel'aran'rhiod?
That was my prediction. That's what I said. That's what I speculated.
Yeah.
That this is Rand's normal dream.
Yeah.
And
She's coming
she's
in.
come into his dream.
Which kind of makes sense
But
why
she
Rand,
can control it, though.
to an extent, he fought back. She
Right.
didn't have full control.
Right.
Where it was like, hey, drink the spooky ghost wine or anything like that, like we also talked about, where that seemed to be not on the same level of, like, your dream, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a sliding scale of Tel'aran'rhiod to normal dream, and it's like, where does everything fall?
Yeah.
So there is an answer to that question.
So Tel'aran'rhiod equals confusing land.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're figuring it out. So
Yeah.
just, like, start thinking about that, where there is that scale of level of the dream sequence.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then the second question that Nynaeve brings up with about after her first idea gets shot down, then she says, okay, well, if I can't go into her dream, then why don't I just pull her into our dream? Or can we bring her here?
Yeah.
Let's pull her into the dream. And that's when the wise ones are like, no, that's evil. She would be helpless, like as helpless as you would be in her dream. And that's an evil thing that was, like, done by the shadow in the last days of the Age of Legends.
And it's actually still happening now.
And it's still totally happening now.
Yes.
And it is probably evil. But we also got that, we've heard it from Amis, and we've heard it from Hopper about when you come into Tel'aran'rhiod in the flesh, it's an evil thing because people who do it do evil things.
Like when you come fully.
Exactly, when you come too strongly, and that's like the whole parent thing about being too strong in the dream. So the phrasing that we had talked about before that's really important is it evil to actually do that to someone, or is it evil because the people who are doing it do evil things?
Yeah. Okay, so Nynaeve does her best to reason with the wise ones to help her. The Black Aja is sitting on top of something that can harm Rand, and now they know and care about Rand, so come on, guys.
Give me something we can actually use.
Yeah, we need to find it before they do, whatever this thing is. And the wise ones know of a way.
Yeah.
But it is dangerous, and Bear doesn't want Amis to tell Nynaeve because she is so untrained and terrible at this.
Yeah, she doesn't want to give up the secrets, but they kind of have to.
At this point.
Yeah.
So Egwene's like, I can do it. And they're like, shush you.
Yeah, get out of here.
No, of
you
course
can't be
you
careful.
Can't. So I think Nynaeve is less careful than Egwene. Although, it's the same.
It's the same. It's both bad.
I think that Egwene could be more careful now.
Yes. But whether or not... Yeah. Okay.
Now that she's had some training and is like under their watch... Like, I feel like
Egwene's very impulsive, though, too. Like, they're both impulsive. They're both not careful. Yeah.
Amis says, okay, need is the key to Tel'aran'rhiod. Amis tells a story about how the Aiel sometimes need to find water in the waste.
Yeah.
And they do it by concentrating on the thing that they need. And it will bring you closer to that thing.
Yes. And there's dangers, though. But it kind of makes sense now how the Aiel, so way back when, thinking about the history of the Aiel entering the waste, it makes sense that they've survived because they've always had Dreamwalkers to help them find places where they can survive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, they talk about, like, this is how we find places to live in the waste. We use the dream. We use Tel'aran'rhiod.
So when a hold has too many people
and they need to split and make a new hold, basically they use, if they don't know where there's water, they can use Tel'aran'rhiod to find it.
Yes.
And that makes sense, tracing back like the lineage way back to the first. They've always done it this way.
Right. Okay. But there are dangers because you don't know where you're going to be taken.
Yeah, it's a blind jump.
So each step is made blind. And Egwene realizes that she's used this method before to get to Tyr.
Yes.
Because she needed to find where the Black Aja
Need to find the Black Aja. And then she's, boom, in the heart of stone. And the Black Aja there are looking. And then, like, Leandrin turns and smiles.
So, now here's the thing. Egwene has done this
a few times.
Another time.
She has.
To specifically find exactly what...
Amis.
Oh, no. I was going to say something else.
Oh, okay. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah. Amis. She found Amis. Yeah. Okay. There's that one. The other thing is she found exactly what Nynaeve is searching for.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
She did. 100%.
She went into Tel'aran'rhiod.
Oh, we talked about it.
Yeah. She went to Tanchico and she thought, I need to find what the Black Aja are going to use to hurt Rand.
Yep. She found it.
She found it.
She found it. We found it. We talked about it.
Yep.
But even you are guilty of skipping over it.
Really? This bracelet thing?
Oh, you are 100% so guilty.
Ah,
oh my God. And
Brett.
I covered it. Like, go back and listen. But I talked about it more than one time. And it was like, but also they found this bracelet and collar. And you're like, whatever. It doesn't matter. And I was like, I thought it spooky vibes from it.
I thought it was like the figure thing that caused all the pain.
You did think that.
Turns out it was the bracelet.
That's broken.
Yeah.
So it could be causing pain because it's just a broken triangle.
I don't know, maybe. Okay.
Right?
Anyway, but it annoys me here that Egwene doesn't even remotely think.
She doesn't,
she's like, I did that before in Tyr.
Yeah.
Period.
But, and the funny thing is, like, the other incident is that's how she found Amis in the waste. She was thinking, while in Tanchico, I need to find someone who can teach me how to use Tel'aran'rhiod. And boom, she's in front of Amis in the waste, who's like hunting a boar or something.
Yeah, and Amis is like, the fuck?
Yeah, and then that's when Amis comes to Tanchico and she's like, come to me.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I mean, that's literally how Tel'aran'rhiod works. We've also seen Perrin do it. Perrin's used it too. When he's like jumped across.
to find stuff.
Not in the same way,
No.
but similar.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't quite remember Perrin using it like this, but
Not the exact same, but there's like similarities to what Perrin can do with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that right now. There's a lot more to cover with.
Yeah, there's
with
actually
this, so.
quite a bit here.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve wraps up the conversation and tells them to take care of Egwene, but watch out because she can be hard-headed. And they counter and they say, Egwene is quite a studious student now.
Yeah, but it's a dry voice.
Yeah.
It's sarcasm.
And Nynaeve is like, well, you can't know her very well if you think that she's just such a studious student.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Okay.
But I think that she is now. I didn't think that it was sarcasm.
Well, she says it in a dry voice.
Because she used to
Yeah.
be terrible, and they've like suppressed it.
And I mean, it's Egwene, so it's like
They
she suppressed
bullied
it
it
to
up.
an extent.
Yeah,
Like there's
of
an
course.
extent. Like there's still definitely
But
some.
she knows, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like she's under their thumb.
yeah.
She's absolutely doing everything that they want.
Okay,
I think.
okay, sure,
She's not going to tell Tel'aran'rhiod on her own at this point,
true.
and that's like the main rule. And
I
that's
mean,
not
she's still lying to them though,
about.
being Aes Sedai.
Well, at this point, if she were to say anything else, then it would just be awful. It's one of those things where you've told a lie, so now you can't stop telling that lie.
Uh-oh. That's not how it works. You're supposed to be like, come clean.
No, oh no. The repercussions of her coming clean would be awful.
Only tell the truth
That's
if
how
it
I
means
think.
there's no repercussions to your
Remember
actions.
how in her testing she'd become an Aes Sedai without
Oh, yeah.
taking the oaths?
I remember that because she
It's
just lies
because
about
she's
it.
just gonna lie about being Aes Sedai the entire
Forever.
time, and
Okay.
she's gonna be stronger than all of the actually raised Aes Sedais.
Interesting.
Like that's literally gonna happen.
Okay. I like that. Okay, let's keep going.
We've talked about that lots of
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I forgot, but now I remember.
Okay, but back to this. So the plan is that in 7 days they'll meet up again, and Egwene says, well, in 7 days from now, Rand will have pronounced himself the Dawn Guy,
Yep.
and all the Aiel will be behind him.
It's going to be great. Everyone's going to love him.
You know what they're doing here? Both of these people, both of Nynaeve and Egwene?
What?
Manifesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're trying to-
Visualize the
they're
reality you want.
visualizing
Yeah, yeah.
the reality they want. They're saying the positive things.
And Nynaeve's like, yeah, and in 7 days, we're going to have defeated all the Bakaja and saved the world.
Yes.
We're going to do it.
All right. They're
Yep.
manifesting. That's literally what's happening.
Yeah. But let's note that the wise ones are totally not in the same train
No,
of
they're
fire.
not. They're like, all the Aiel will be behind Rand.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
no. They're more realistic about the situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so Egwene and the Wise Ones leave, and Nynaeve realizes that she didn't mention the Aegyanan thing.
Yeah.
You know, the whole her being Shanshan thing to Egwene.
Probably best not to.
Yeah,
That's
best
probably
not
a good
to.
call.
Yeah, I actually agree. This is probably a good call.
Yeah.
But here's what I've been talking about. Remember how I said I have a point later?
Sure.
This is my point. Nynaeve specifically
Oh,
says,
yep.
you know,
I know.
you
I know what you know. Yeah.
She specifically says it's not like Egwene will ever meet her. You know what's definitely gonna happen when
They're gonna meet someday.
when Robert Jordan writes a sentence like that.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
They are gonna meet.
That's so funny.
And Elaine and Nynaeve are going to be good friends. That's the prediction.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
Something's gonna happen, and Egwene, her trauma is gonna show,
Yeah.
and is not gonna be able to handle it.
gonna be bad. Okay.
It's not gonna be good.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
We need to get a board.
Yeah, I'm working on it slowly.
Okay.
Amongst everything else that's
Right,
happening
there's
in
so
life.
many things happening.
So,
Okay, so with Egwene and the Wise Ones gone, Nynaeve disguises herself as Rendra.
yeah.
And she's like,
I mean,
oh,
hey, it
I
works.
can change my appearance here. Which is another thing we need to talk about because of the whole Slayer being also Lord Luke. In you know that prediction
Oh, right. Okay.
from like a while ago?
Yeah, yeah.
And how can they be the same person if one looks different?
Change your appearance.
Change your appearance.
Okay.
The issue is I think that Slayer hasn't changed his appearance and Luke has, but Luke is in the
Right.
real world.
Right.
So that's the issue.
Yes, it was a close, but it just, something didn't quite line up.
Yeah, but it's clearly the same person.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, and I can't let it go.
I feel like Perrin would smell. It's not no time for
They
Perrin.
smell the same.
They smell similar.
Yeah.
It reminded, but it wasn't like, oh, it's the same person.
Okay, Brett.
No time for Perrin right now.
I know.
This isn't the chapter for
But
it.
I have to tell you, next time we see Perrin in the dream world, I'm going to say, remember how you can completely change your appearance?
Yes, okay.
In the dream world?
Talk about it then.
Okay. So, Nynaeve begins to focus on need and shifts. And then she opens her eyes and she's in the huge bed chamber. And a woman is standing very stiffly against a bedpost wearing a crown. Like a really neat crown.
Yeah, it is a neat crown.
Of Vendosora leaves.
Yeah, okay.
And we know that the Panarch wears a tree crown. We got that last 2 chapters ago, I think.
Yeah.
And she's naked. Her eyes are fixed on the woman lying at ease on a couch in the room. And this second woman can't see Nynaeve and is misty.
Yeah, so it's like her back is to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve realizes that the second woman is Tamil, who is a Black Aja, clearly using a dream terrain rail.
Yes, and like basically torturing Emethera.
Basically, yep.
That's happening.
It is. So Nynaeve realizes that Emethera is now staring at her because she's just appeared.
Yes. So it's basically like Nynaeve and then the Black Aja facing the Panarch.
I have to tell you, this was one thing I wasn't confused about.
Okay, and then,
I got
it. She's staring at her, so.
I got it.
Yeah.
And so Tamil is about to turn around to see what Emethera is staring at, and then Nynaeve closes her eyes and shifts, focuses on need.
Yeah, so I guess that answers the question about Emethera.
100%.
Not a dark friend. She's totally like a captive.
100%.
So yeah.
Yes. So now we also get a side note about Tamil being the one who likes causing pain.
Yes.
So that was dangerous. Almost exactly as the wise ones had said.
Yeah, it's the whole Viper's Den. It's like you can shift somewhere and then it's boom, you're in a Viper's Den. You can still get murdered right away. So be careful.
Yeah, like Nynaeve just like is like,
I'm careful all the time.
And so she closes her eyes and she's always right in front of like the most dangerous.
Yeah.
So at least at this point she's discovered Emethera's actual allegiance. Like at least that has happened.
Yeah.
But Nynaeve has now shifted to the museum.
Yes. Yeah, the main exhibition hall of the palace.
Right, okay.
Yeah, with all the bones and all the fun stuff.
Oh, you mean the place that Egwene specifically went to?
Hey, you can mock her, but you also missed all the important things. You too did not know the need thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm just saying, though, she picked up on, hey, I did that before, and I thought it was going to be this particular instance, and it wasn't.
Yeah, no.
Now, I did my very best dissecting that scene as it was written.
Yes.
And it's not written for me to pick up on the first
we're going to agree to disagree.
Brett, you always forget how little information I actually know.
No, I know that, though, but the bracelets were specifically mentioned. We can go back. We're going to do a redo.
Yeah, but you have to know how many other things were specifically mentioned.
That's true.
You can't speculate that everything is bad.
Everything's important, though.
Okay.
Okay, let's get a little further into this.
So, a handsome woman appears suddenly, and her dress seems to be misty.
Okay.
And she seems to be studying some of the things.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Nynaeve thinks she could disappear at any moment.
This is just a regular person.
A regular person who dreamed herself here by accident.
But it's not.
It is not that. So Nynaeve watches the woman, and something isn't right. Because every time she thinks of this woman, something terrible happens to her.
Yeah, it's like her brain is trying to work in overtime here.
So she takes hold of her own braids, but her hand is doing things not of her own accord.
Yeah, it's doing its own thing.
So she's like pulling her own hair so hard she's going to rip her hair out of her scalp. And every time she thinks of this woman, something happens. Nynaeve is confused. I'm confused. Probably other people are confused. Everyone's confused.
Sure.
And then she thinks to herself, she knows she hasn't seen this woman before, but then all of a sudden she connects some dots.
Yep.
And every time she thinks of this woman, she feels more and more and more pain. And then all of a sudden, she recalls the events of the chamber where the woman came in and compelled her and Elaine to tell them everything.
Yeah. So dots connected. Does it kind of make more sense now? Or?
No.
Okay. So just really simply put, we saw a Forsaken walk into the room
100%.
and compel them.
Prediction, Mogedian.
Mogedian, yeah. So the point is that when you compel someone, we got to see her implant that new memory of what she wanted them to see. But that doesn't mean that the actual events are erased from the mind. So it seems like if someone is strong-willed enough or stubborn enough, like Nynaeve, you could essentially fight that implanted memory.
Interesting, okay.
So that's why she's having like this weird cognitive dissonance, like something's not lining up, her brain's working overtime to figure out what's going on. She's telling herself, I don't know this person, but internally, kind of like how her block, she knows what's wrong, but she's not admitting it to herself. She fights and fights and fights until something snaps and boom, she can recall those events.
Okay, so then what's with the hurting herself?
That was like she's fighting
Is that more...
It's fighting the compulsion that's like overlaid in her brain.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I did not get that.
That's all like
at all.
Think of side effects of everything that's
all
happening.
All the times I read this and listened to this, the only thing I could think was, I hope Brett can explain this to me.
Just think like crazy. Yeah, for now, the best way to describe it
didn't make sense. It was just like, here's some Forsaken doing some shit to her.
So nothing's happening to her here.
Interesting.
This is all repercussions of the compulsion.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just to make it simple, the compulsion already happened.
Yes.
And these are the after effects.
And this isn't more compulsion?
No, nothing's happening to her in the present time.
Doesn't know Nynaeve is here?
Correct.
Okay.
And we know that from Brigida.
Right.
Brigida showing up can 100%...
that makes things more complicated.
That confirms that Mogedian, who this woman is, does not see Nynaeve here.
Okay. And then we get confirmation that the woman who was compelling them is Mogedian.
Yes.
Okay. Gold star?
Gold star, yeah.
Unicorn?
Unicorn will count.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So Nynaeve is just furious because she figures out that this woman has tricked her into telling her a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And she hates it.
The only issue, she just thinks it's
she's a black
sister.
And even that, though, is a bold move.
Yeah.
Here. Like, this is bad.
But like on the scale of like who you're going to compete with?
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
It gets worse.
So then Brigida just shows up as the savior of all the idiot Talarandriators.
Yep.
And she presses a finger to her lips and motions Nynaeve to follow her away.
Come this way.
Come this way.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve is like, I got no time for you now, Brigida, or whoever you are.
Yeah.
And
woman dressing like and looking like her.
Back to attack the woman, and she's gone.
So that's the thing. Nynaeve was gonna full on attack her.
Yeah, and
she was
Brigida,
100% ready for that.
Pops into existence, is like, follow me.
Don't do that.
Nynaeve is like, no.
Yeah.
And she turns back. Woman's gone. Nynaeve is pissed and is now gonna go after Brigida to yell at her.
Just like she did in the Two Rivers.
Hey, you come back here.
And then she ran into...
You listen to me.
Yeah.
Land lookalike.
Land lookalike. Yeah.
So, now it's story time with Brigida.
Yeah.
Which means it's story time with Brett.
Okay, awesome.
Because you're going to tell me about Brigida's memories and all kinds of crap.
Okay. So, and this is what I was talking about, like, with Brigida being here and doing this, we can 100% assume that Mogedian did not, in fact, see her. So, Brigida remembers lives she has lived, and the longer gone they are, the dimmer the memory. So that kind of makes sense. But she also remembers when she fought beside Lews Therin. So that was like 3,000 years ago-ish.
Yeah.
So that's important. And she will never forget Mogedian's face.
Got it.
So that means that this woman in the dream world is Mogedian.
Yeah.
Boom, there you go.
Got it.
Yeah. And then she also isn't going to forget Asmodean.
And that was the guy who was in the waste that...
checking out Ruidian.
Yes.
Who was like trying to get in there, and he's like, oh, it's not working. And Nynaeve was spying on him from a distance.
Yeah.
That was Asmodean.
Right.
Another Forsaken who we know the name of. Oh man, there's a bunch of them. Who happened to be
in the waste trying to get into Ruidian when a bunch of mysterious, suspicious peddlers show up, also heading towards Ruidian.
Okay. We're getting somewhere. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We'll have to come back to that next time.
Okay. I know we have no time for that
No time for that now.
Put a pin in it because...
we get a name.
There's a theory.
Yes.
There's a theory about the peddlers not just being stupid peddlers. There's a theory.
Okay. Are they all Forsaken?
Yes, all of them.
Oh my god, every one of them?
Every single one.
Oh no, there's like 30 of them.
3 of them are for sure Lanfear.
Okay. Anyways.
1 is Asmodean.
No time for that now. Okay, we get more story time from Brigida. She talks about how those who are bound to the wheel wait until the wheel weaves them out, and what better place to wait than in Teleran Riyadh.
And let me tell you, here's another gold star for
gold
Danny.
star.
For me, I win all the predictions because I said all the heroes of the Horn live in Teleran Riyadh, and I'm right.
You sure heckin' did, and you were right. Congratulations.
Woo!
That was a good one. That was a big one.
I get so many things wrong. I relish in these moments where I'm 100%
I mean,
right.
when you first dropped that prediction, that was pretty big. That was a big one.
So impressed
that was good
with me.
piecing together of what we knew. So.
I was wrong. I thought they all lived in Ruidian.
Yeah, you did. You
Like
had some
Victory...
really bad theories too, like a Victory Village type situation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Olympic Village. They all just live there.
That was wrong. Living in Teleran Riyadh
is right.
That was right.
Okay, but it gets...
they have to live somewhere.
It gets deeper than that too.
Yeah.
So, in almost every life, Brigida kind of gives us some background on who she is. Because again, Brigida is just one iteration of who that soul is.
Got it.
But Brigida is typically, in her iterations of her life, is a simple girl who takes up the bow, and she's an archer. And she can't touch the world of flesh until the horn calls her again, or the wheel weaves her out. And if it did that right now, so if the wheel was like, yep, it's your time to go back in as...
she would be a baby.
She'd be a baby right now. So that's important of how that works too. So at Falma, the heroes were not there in the flesh. They were called by the horn, so it's not the same as being like
which is
there.
Also an interesting point I put here in big bold letters.
Yeah.
The power can't touch her when the horn calls.
Yes. So basically when the horn calls and they come into the real world, they're like invincible superheroes because it's like... And that was the big thing we talked about.
And that's how they're going to fight the Dark One, right? Like, that's the idea.
That's the idea, is like at the last battle, they'll have like this invincible fighting force or whatever you want to call it. So, but
cool.
At the end of the Great Hunt, just to kind of connect a few dots here, we got when Nat blew the horn, it became all misty. It was kind of weird. It was like dream sequence. That was because it was like bringing Teleran Riyadh into the real world for the heroes to be there.
And I feel like I sort of said that.
Yeah, we kind of pieced it together. It's just like we didn't confirm a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was super early on in the series.
It was really weird, dreamy.
That's what we call it. But it's like we can 100% talk about that now, that was like Teleran Riyadh. It was like bridging the gap, essentially.
It's interesting that like it's all coming together here and we're like 2 books later.
2 books later, yeah. And we're only 4 books in.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
I am in for it, aren't I?
Yeah. Okay, so a couple more things about Brigida. She doesn't have unlimited knowledge she's not all-knowing, all-seeing.
She only sort of knows what she sees and hears.
Yeah. She has to like spy on people, so she spies on Nynaeve, Elaine, Egwene, and Perrin.
Yeah,
the wolf boy.
Because she says those who fight evil in the dream world attract her.
Yeah, because she wants to also fight evil.
Yeah.
But this is the big thing. According to the precepts, and we've heard this before, she shouldn't even be interacting with them. So it's basically...
But she's going to do it anyways.
Rules as strong as laws, and she's breaking them. So my question to you is, will there be consequences because she's... like, Gaidel Kane, who comes in, has issues.
I know. So my issue is, who set the prescripts?
I wrote that question down.
Oh.
Who set the precepts?
Who did that? Because that is going to... determine if there's issue.
Yeah.
Is it I don't know.
So the way I kind of look at it right now from what we know,
this probably isn't good that she's doing this. That's like my bottom line. If you're breaking any sort of pre-written rules from like the creator,
I mean, that's a possibility. We also know the horn is from before the Age of Legends.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Who's there to call her out on breaking the rules? Is there some sort of Tel'aran'rhiod police force?
So I want to kind of talk about this real quick here. So we've seen where the heroes, specifically Brigida and Geidel Kane, those are the two people we've really interacted with. They seem to be able to work on a level that's a little bit different in Tel'aran'rhiod. They have a layer of protection where even Hopper, for example, didn't even know Brigida and Geidel Kane were there when they talked with Perrin near the Tower of Genji.
Yeah.
So they seem to have like a layer of protection that like they're put above the Dreamwalkers and Perrin and all these other people. So that's kind of the thing you got to keep in the back of your mind.
Okay.
So
anyway, I think to answer your original question,
consequences?
I think so.
Okay. What they will be?
Worth it.
Nice answer.
Yes.
Good answer. Good answer.
Okay.
Little family feud there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now Geidel Kane shows up.
Right.
Yes. The man with two swords. We've seen him.
The
bunch
Ninja
of times.
Turtle.
And he is not attractive.
He looks like a Ninja Turtle.
He is a Ninja Turtle.
In fact, he is.
Yeah.
That's who he is. Who's the one with the swords again? Leonardo?
Leonardo, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Anyways, he's ugly.
He's ugly. He's all scarred
Brigida's
up.
taller than him.
Which, I mean, doesn't make a man ugly.
No, it doesn't. It's just like a funny, weird description where it's like, oh, she's tall and beautiful, and he's like short and ugly.
Yeah, and like wide and...
But they're soulmates.
Turtle.
The thing that I
He's
do
a turtle.
love...
He looks like a turtle.
Yeah.
My mind.
The thing that I hate is that she usually hates him
right
at first
when they
sight,
first meet.
but they always end up as lovers or wed.
These soulmates.
But the whole point is that it's a simple story retold 1,000 variations, and I love that RJ kind of puts this in.
Flicker.
But he puts it in
Flicker.
where there's so many real world stories in our lives that are just like the same story retold 1,000 times in a little bit different ways. They're all the same stories though.
Right.
We did a bonus episode about the hero's journey, how all heroes have like the same kind of basic story, and it doesn't make it bad. It's just like there's reasons for that.
Yeah.
So.
But also soulmates, adorbs.
Soulmates. Yeah. And
Super adorbs.
Geidel Kane gets fed up with Brigida breaking the precepts. He's like, cut it out.
Do you think that we would meet in a million different lifetimes?
I'd be down for that. I could
like
do that.
that idea.
Okay, back to the story. More importantly,
okay.
He says nothing but strife and trouble comes from breaking the precepts, which means it has happened before.
Ooh, consequences.
He knows that it's a thing that has happened, and there's consequences, but we don't know to what end.
Right. Okay.
But it's not like she's the first person to ever have done something like this.
Yes. Well, Brigida believes that they must help fight the shadow no matter what the consequences.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
what
on
she's
board.
about.
I like her. She's one of my up there. She's in my like top characters at this point.
And I mean, the whole point too is like we just got told by her that she's in the dream world.
Yeah.
So, and if she comes out now, like she's going to be born as a baby. And like, how long is this series?
She's like, frick, I just have to.
She's basically their like Tel'aran'rhiod escort, you know?
Yeah, she has to.
Yeah.
At this point, because they fight when the horn calls or the wheel will weave them out. But we also get some information that Mogedion promised Brigida something.
Yeah.
When she back followed LTT.
Yeah, and it's like super mysterious, but we find out 2 paragraphs later.
Yes. So we get some information on Mogedion.
Yes.
Because Nynaeve actually asks like some good questions here.
Yeah, good on her for doing that.
And Brigida gives the information. Turns out Mogedion hides and takes no risks. And that's what that other guy said to Lanfear in Rand's dream.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna be like Mogedion, taking no risks or something. Or you're taking too many risks.
Lanfear said it to the guy?
Oh, yeah, that actually makes way more sense now that I'm saying
Lanfear said it to the guy. He's like, oh, you're being like her.
Yeah.
You don't take any risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I remember how I was like, Ravita's the only name I can remember.
Yeah, that's not the only name we know.
No, it is not. But now we get
Asmodean. Okay.
I change my answer.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
I change it.
Sweet.
And if I'm wrong, I will bite the bullet, but this makes so much more sense.
Okay.
To me.
Okay.
That Asmodean is working with Lanfear, and they're both in the waste right now.
Nice.
Masquerading
okay.
around over there.
So who... are they invisible to us, or are they like literally
Listen,
one of the
we
peddlers?
don't have time to get into
No
that.
time to. Okay. So one thing that I do want to know about Mogedion is that she does note that she will run. She's not like a fight to the end type person. If I'm gonna lose, I'm bouncing from this fight.
But
not
we
happening.
also get that Mogedion is actually stronger in the dream world than Lanfear.
Yes.
Even though Lanfear has claimed it as her own.
Yeah. Mogedion
Mogedion-
like does stuff from the shadows. She's the spider. So
Right. So in learning that Mogedion is actually stronger than Lanfear in the dream world, we also get that she probably won't face her
yeah. Well, she's also not stronger than Lanfear in the real world. Like strength wise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So Nynaeve asks what Mogedion promised Brigida,
Yeah.
and Mogedion knew what Bridget was.
Brigida.
Brigida. All these names are awful. Mogedion. I don't like any of them.
Call her Bridget.
I'm gonna call her Mogi and Bree. Berg.
Berg.
Oh, I hate these names so freaking much. I'm trying so hard.
Okay, Mogedion knew that Brigida what she was.
Yes.
Even though Brigida didn't know what she was.
Yes.
Because that's important. Like, you don't know that you are a
Who
hero
you
of the
are.
Horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Not
'cause
everyone is like Randall Thorne.
to have like a freaking
Dragon
existential
Reborn.
crisis
Yes.
if you knew. So
Yeah. So Mogedion promised to make her weep alone for as long as the wheel turns.
I mean, yeah, that's a threat that a Forsaken would make.
Yeah, but listen, we've heard from Hopper that if you die, if you're like dead, and your soul's just hanging out in the dream world,
Sure.
if you die in the dream world,
Yes.
then you're dead forever.
Okay.
You don't come back.
Is Hopper reliable or unreliable narrator though?
Reliable.
Yeah.
You want to tell me that Hopper isn't reliable?
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I won't have it.
Okay. They have to leave now.
No, but basically what she's saying is she's going to basically murder Guidal Kane forever and ever.
Oh.
So that Brigida can't
She's
be
alone
reborn.
forever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
That's what that is.
Okay.
That's what
It
that
depends
is.
on your interpretation of events.
That's what it is.
Okay.
That's 100% what that is. Because she's like soulmates with Guidal Kane forever and ever.
Yeah.
They always get like reborn together. Because we also get, there's a lot of information here that we skipped over.
Yes.
But
yeah.
when Guidal Kane leaves the dream world, Brigida knows her time to leave is
Because
soon.
he goes first.
Yes.
Because he's like a little bit older. So.
Yeah, they always are
Yeah.
reborn together.
And we know that time's a little bit wonky, so it's like it
oh,
doesn't
100%.
necessarily.
Time
but
doesn't make sense at all.
He
But-
goes first usually, and then she follows.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so what would happen is Mogedion is gonna destroy Guidal Kane somehow.
Oh my god.
So that isn't that what that means?
I mean, it's what it means to you.
That's what that means.
She just said it promised to make you weep alone
Yeah,
forever.
forever.
Okay.
As long as the wheel turns.
That's good.
Yeah. So Brigida, Guidal Kane, they leave, giggling to each other.
Yeah.
Adorbs.
Adorable.
Love it.
Yep.
So Nynaeve returns to the Great Hall, the museum where
Yeah.
she had been, and is pissed off to find that Mogedion is gone.
Yep.
She wanted to teach her a lesson.
Like what?
So this is that.
Is this that arrogance and smudginess?
I wrote that in my notes.
Nice.
It says arrogance and there's that smudgeness. It says it.
Well, it's a perfect opportunity for it.
And I wrote in capital letters, listen and learn, God damn it, woman.
Yeah.
You just heard, number one, she's a Forsaken.
Yep.
Number two, she's stronger than Lanfear in the dream world.
She's
where
probably
you
like
are,
the best person.
and you have no fucking idea what you're doing.
You're wearing armor, but she's wearing armor. So how do you
By
get
accident.
through the armor?
By accident.
You can't
Anyway, she's going there hoping to teach the Forsaken Mogedion a lesson in the dream world. I hate Nynaeve. I actually can't.
Okay, I just want you to say that you opened this chapter by saying this is your favorite
It is.
Nynaeve
It
chapter.
is. It's a very exciting,
Top 5 in the book.
very interesting, good written, well written chapter.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's great. Yeah.
Nynaeve,
Frustrating.
frustrating.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, so she's trying to pinpoint what Mogedion was looking at.
And then she's like, let me just find that other Black Aja and I'm going to blast her and teach her a lesson. And it's
Yeah.
like,
That one
lady,
she might be able to do. I'm
maybe.
just saying.
But
Yeah.
like maybe you don't even know. You have no idea. This woman who loves pain, who loves giving people pain.
Yep. I mean,
You're
not
just
the
gonna
best
go-
plan, but like maybe just go fireball her when she's not looking.
But yeah, I guess Nynaeve can balefire. Hey, we did get that. She balefired some.
I said
spades.
fireball.
Oh,
Yeah, but
in
she
my mind,
did.
fireball is balefire.
Fireball is not the same as balefire.
I am confused.
Okay.
Okay.
A ball of fire.
Well, okay.
Balefire.
So off track. We have so
Okay.
much to talk about. So Nynaeve goes to look at what Mogedion has been smiling at.
Yes.
So we get 6 sort of mismatched figurines.
Which aren't as important as what's
because
also
I
there.
thought it was going to be like the figurine holding the thing that
Yeah.
the broken one that Egwene saw.
Yep.
And then the ones that Rand saw that weren't broken in Ruidian,
Okay.
right? I thought it was going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it might still be.
Could
but
be.
It doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
Because when we also get the seal for the Darkwoods prison, not broken, hanging out here.
Boom. Another
Good
seal.
to know.
There you go.
Good to know. Now, Nynaeve shifts again, searching with the need, and she is now standing in front of a display, and what's laying on top doesn't look dangerous. It's a necklace and 2 bracelets joined with black metal, and then she touches it
Yes.
and gets the raw emotion of pain, sorrow, and suffering, just like Egwene.
Okay, so the funny thing about when we first got introduced to the bracelets with the collar is we got introduced to it immediately after we got introduced to the Shanchan with the Adam,
Yes.
with the collar and the necklace.
I know,
So,
and that's what I had speculated.
no,
In my brain, no, I didn't speculate
we
that.
did not talk about it.
I don't believe you.
glossed over it and you skipped it.
Nah,
And
no
we never once
way.
talked about the fact that a bracelet and collar
No way I did.
could possibly be the thing that's dangerous to Rand, a man who can channel. Because we know that Adam, the way they work is that the regular ones, if a man puts it on, is that there's 2 options.
Yeah,
either,
we've already had this conversation.
Yeah.
Like a couple episodes ago. Because I thought that maybe with the Adam that what's her name? Aegianin.
Yeah.
Aeginin was collecting. I thought maybe they were gonna use that. Remember we had this whole conversation.
Not when we first saw this
No,
bracelet
I know.
right after.
I'm
And that
gonna
was the
go
big
listen
point.
back because
Check it out. Check
I'm
it out.
gonna.
It's been a thing.
Okay.
It's been a point of contention.
I believe
We've
it.
been searching for this object that could cause Rand severe harm, be dangerous to him, and we now know that it's literally
this.
a bracelet made for specifically a man.
Turns out.
Because the regular ones will like either kill you or drive you crazy or whatever.
Right,
It's like
whatever it is.
not going to work. But this one is different.
Is different. And Mogedion knows now.
Yes.
We get that. But a positive here, it's still here. If it's here in the dream world, hopefully
That's also what,
it's
Nynaeve's
here.
thinking. So
Hopefully it's here in the regular world.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
But it's like, why would Mogedion be looking at it here if she's not just going to go swoop in and get, like, she's a Forsaken. Why
Yeah.
can't she just go and get it?
Because she's the spider and she doesn't just like act.
She doesn't want to yet.
She doesn't want to yet.
Yeah, okay.
She doesn't want to yet.
And I mean, the
and
good thing,
maybe the Black Aja haven't figured it out yet.
so that's also the
Or
question is like,
something. I don't
and
know.
Nynaeve kind of runs through all these questions when she wakes up.
Okay, so here, let's get into it real quick
Yeah.
because we get a perspective change and we get Elaine waking up Nynaeve from sleeping. And Nynaeve talks out loud right away. Some pretty good questions.
Yeah.
Does Mogedion and the Black Aja know of each other? What's happening here? What's going on?
Yeah, so
I have the same questions, and I have to tell you right off the bat, I don't have answers.
okay. But yeah, so just to summarize, because there are important questions that she does ask. If she knows what it is, why hasn't she like given the bracelets to the Black Aja? So if the Black Aja knows who Mogedion is, like why are they not coordinating? Is she hiding from them?
Yeah, none of it makes
So-
sense. I don't know what's happening. Nynaeve doesn't know what's happening.
So here's the thing: we've seen perspectives from Leandrin, and not once has anything come up about Mogedion.
Nothing.
So
No.
she's the spider. She's like hiding.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, I
that makes
really don't
sense.
think that out of all the Forsaken, Leandrin could be like, quote, working for. It's not Mogedion.
Okay.
In my opinion.
At least not like openly the way it's, you know.
Ah,
I kind of see like Lanfear coming down being like, I'm Lanfear, you're working for me now.
no.
No?
No,
Don't
no,
you
no,
see that?
no. Oh, no.
Okay.
She's way too good to need, like, any Black Aja.
Oh, she doesn't need
Yeah, we
Okay.
know that Lanfear doesn't work with Black Aja.
But if she, that's true because those are all,
Yeah. Okay. So Nynaeve recounts the entire story for Elaine. Nynaeve recounts how Moghedien wove the power around them and told them everything.
Yeah.
And they wonder if Moghedien is hiding from Leandrin and the others. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Elaine speculates why jewelry could be dangerous to Rand.
Yeah.
And then as Nynaeve is describing it, she's like, yeah, a necklace that looks like a collar. Oh shit, a collar!
Oh no, it's like we've been through this. And then
they both at the same time look over to Aeginin, who right away is like, I've never heard of an Adam made for a man. Nothing like you've described. I've never seen that. Believe me.
But it's like this one specific one in the exhibition room of the museum of the Panor's Palace that's got a bunch of old stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Elaine has been doing some thinking on how to sneak into the Panarch's palace. A crash and a noise from the hallway happens. Tom is picking himself up to the floor because they go running out going like, what the heck just happened? Julian and Daman are standing over a yellow-haired man laying face down, unconscious.
Yeah.
Seems like they've picked up the scent of whatever they've been dragging around the town.
Yeah. They brought it back to the inn. This guy's here.
It seems that way.
It's kind of funny in the sense that the guy came by and kicked Tom in the head.
Yeah. And Elaine, here's another Elaine tidbit.
Okay.
Elaine tries to help Tom up and then worries too much about his injury.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they think it's someone who's like walking down the hall trying to steal from Tom. I think it's the guy who was sitting outside the inn watching Aegyanin from the beginning.
Okay.
That Seeker guy.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Especially because we learn that he was Shanchen.
Yeah. Well, and Julian recognizes the guy because that guy also tried to rob Julian out on the street, so he's clearly doing stuff.
Rob,
but it's like, not Rob.
Yeah, I don't think it's robbing at this point.
Yeah. And I do gotta say, I kind of love, in a crazy sense, Aegyanin's reaction. She's like, oh, he's Shanchen. We should probably slit his throat.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a good call.
Yeah, no biggie, right?
Yeah, but we're not going to glaze over the fact that Nynaeve and Aegyanin are in their shifts.
Right.
And the men are leering and ogling them.
Bad. Don't do it.
Disgusting. And here's my only point about this, because I was reading this chapter.
Sure.
This happened. It made me go, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
And it made me think this ruined a really good chapter for me.
Okay.
But the second time I read it through, I have to say I appreciate the women's reactions to this happening.
Okay.
Because before we had Egwene and Elaine and Nynaeve feeling complimented when men did objectable things.
Sure. Okay. Right. When they were like on their own and they went into the inn. They were on their own. They're getting catcalled.
They were getting catcalled and someone like touched her butt or something like that. And she was like, oh, someone thinks I'm as pretty as Elaine. Like,
sure.
Egwene felt sort of complimented in that, and I had a whole thing about how being sexually harassed isn't a compliment.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't take that as a compliment. And so I appreciate that these women being ogled, actually, they had appropriate reactions where they were disgusted and annoyed and ran from the situation and objected to being sexually harassed.
Yeah.
And so I had to point this out and say that I appreciated it.
Improvement. Okay.
Improvement.
I also like so one of the things that I like about the scene is just on like a side kind of note, not about that specifically, it's the cultural differences in Nudity and Modesty. So we get like very different reactions and this is why I was saying early in the chapter is like, I'm pretty sure Elaine is dressed still.
Yes.
And it's only Nynaeve and Aegyanin who are in their shifts. But with the women, we've got Elaine being like, oh, it's not that bad.
I'm
Don't
dressed
worry.
in this clingy silk gown where you can see every curve. Like, why is that different?
And then Aguinen, like, literally shrieks. The woman who, like, faces down, like, a bunch of thugs.
And she's, like, mostly
she's a badass.
covered in, like, a thick woolen, like, barely, like, Elaine in her silk gown probably is more showing than
quite possibly, right?
And in her thick linen shift.
Yeah, but like her reaction is shriek and jump back in the room and hide. But then I kind of compare it to like the Aiel cultural differences of nudity, where the women go into Iridian and just like strip down and run, and it's like no big deal.
Yeah,
you can see me naked. It's just a body. Who cares?
Yeah,
but it's just like an interesting take of we get these like very different.
Well, let me speculate on something.
Sure.
In the Shanchen culture, all of the sort of like servants wear very thin robes.
Yeah, and that's why she's like, oh, I'm not a serving girl.
So that I think that it's not like a sexualized thing for her, and it's more like an honor.
Like a class thing.
Like a class thing.
Yeah, like, and the Shanchen are pretty classist. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I actually think is happening here. But for Nynaeve specifically.
Yeah.
So let's finish off this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, Nynaeve orders Daman and Julian to put the man out in the alley and orders Tom to get Rendra to bring them some tea because they have plans to make.
And specifically, the women have plans to make, so they send the men away so they don't interfere.
Basically.
Great tactic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Elaine tries to comfort Aegyanin. It's kind of funny. Tells her, oh, ignore the men.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm no serving girl or Shay dancer.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be ogled like this.
Yeah.
Right? And then she goes, well, that Baal Daman is rather good looking.
Yeah.
A properly set up man.
Well, he's good. But he's a lawbreaker.
Right.
Shoot.
It's
always one thing.
Yeah.
One thing.
And then Elaine says, I don't think about clothes as she thinks about clothes.
Yeah, because Nynaeve's like, oh, we don't have time to talk about clothes and things.
Yeah. Anyway. So they discuss their plans on how to get into the palace unnoticed. They need to get in basically all but invisible, which I think is an interesting phrasing.
Why?
I don't know. I just picked up on it.
Okay.
I don't know. So they're basically going to try to sneak in.
Yeah, I mean they should be sneaky. But
they decide on a set plan before the men return, but we don't hear what their plan is.
Do you want to hear what the plan is?
Yeah.
You hide everybody in like the laundry bins and you wheel them in, pretend to be cheese cart. There you go.
I was gonna say everybody under a trench coat.
Ah, yes, a very tall person, just like
very tall person.
3 people stacked on top of each other under a trench coat.
2 people. Yeah, it's just
perfect. It works.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think they're gonna not do well. That's my end prediction.
That's the thing.
They're gonna try their best.
We've got 6 chapters. We got 3 episodes till the end of this book.
I know.
And our plot points, really, we've got the Tanchico business, and we've got the Rand business.
I'm going to tell you right away.
Perrin.
I'm going to tell you. If every single plot point wraps up in a neat little package,
sure,
I will be disappointed.
Really?
I didn't want that for this book.
Okay, so when you say neat little wrapped up ending, you have to understand that this is the end of a book that is typically going to be like a year or 2 before the next book comes out. So there has to be some sort of conclusion.
Resolution to every
There's got to be a resolution, but it doesn't need to be like, oh, they've saved the day. I'm happy
they're not all at the exact same spot.
They're in very different places.
That part, I do like that things are more spread out.
Like it doesn't
and it's
seem...
not so cookie cutter ending anymore.
It's not like Perrin in Emond's Field and the women in Tanchico and Rand of the Waste are going to
somehow come together in Caelin.
Meet up in Tarval or Caelin or something again, so yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll just have to see.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yep, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Danny and Brett, edited by Danny, produced by Danny and Brett with Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Vince Look, Michelle O'Brien, Sarah Wyatt, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Giannis, and Megan Smiley. With music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in some of our Wheel Weaves merchandise, such as shot glasses, frosty mugs, t-shirts, hats, and more, you can head over to newcreationsbyjen.com, and we are located in the groups or collections section. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast, and you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.